We have been waiting for Power BI for almost 9 years since Microsoft purchased ProClarity, and nothing really happened in these 9 years. And other vendors used this opportunity and grew their business. Power BI is available only for 9 months, and in this 9-month period, Microsoft has done a lot. Now, today, Microsoft is on the first place on a Gartner BI quadrant, and in the same period, the biggest competitor in this area, Tableau and ClickView, lost $6 billion in market capitalization. 2 weeks ago, Microsoft announced that currently they have 5 million subscribers using Power BI. Today's agenda will be all about Power BI with a special attention on data sources, because the front-end part, the visuals, the gadgets, how to create reports, how to publish the reports, this is a very easy part, and we will not waste a lot of time because it's not risky to do the project with that part of the software. However, the data sources is somehow an untold story, especially when the most of the data are coming from Microsoft Dynamics AX and NAV, a very complex ERPs. We will, however, show a few visuals, even if I have time, some DAX expression, and talk about implementation and Q&A. BFO Dynamics is a global Microsoft Dynamics ISV specialized in business intelligence based on data warehouse. We support all, or I would say almost all, AX and NAV version, AX since version 3 and NAV since version 3.1 till latest, and selling across the globe. The key of our product is a data warehouse, and I can tell you data warehouse is not it is a robust, but it's not a slow moving or slow changing technology, especially with if I show you what we have done with the data warehouse. So for example, just a short introduction to BFO Dynamics. This is a sales area where I'm connecting with my Excel to a sales cube. So these are measures and dimensions in a sales area. So data warehouse solution is based in BFO Dynamics, and what I'll show you is the feature that we will be releasing this week. This is a list of the existing dimension that we will set to add all the non-empty attributes for a customer, and we will add all attributes for item dimension with just one click. And we will say, hey, I just want this to be done immediately. So please update now. So while what we are doing currently is we are doing actually everything. We are changing the staging part. We are bringing new data into data warehouse in integration, presentation, and visual area in a cube, and we are pushing all the data through with just one click. And it's ready at the end. As you see, this is my demo database, 300 mega size, and it's already processing the cube. So let's see what it has. I have here a report, the new dimension has been done. Okay, I can close this guy here. And currently, as you may see, I have 7 hierarchies, and these are attributes in a customer, and in item, actually, this is a picture of the previous state. Now I go to data and refresh my cube. And as you see, many more attributes are here. These are actually the hierarchies, because BFO Dynamics automatically create hierarchies, and here are all the fields that are non-empty, not just empty or all fields, but non-empty. And the same for items. Actually, on the item area, we have all the fields. I think there are around 70 fields here. So the data warehouse technology is robust, it's agile, and it's smart. Everything here is based on metadata. Power BI can help you a lot in bringing your Microsoft Dynamics data to the mobile and to the web and to structure data. And you may ask, what actually is Power BI? And if you go to the page, it says that it's a cloud-based service. So you can't buy a product, it's a service. And you use a Power BI desktop to create reports that will be later published to Power BI mobile application. If you say, oh, how much does it cost? You already know that it's really very affordable, which means that you can get a free version and you can get a pro version that you pay. And also, the cost of this is not high. But immediately you notice two things, that there is something saying about the data size or data capacity limit, and we are not used to when we have a desktop application. And also when it comes to the refreshing, it says, hey, you can stream that amount of data. This is sure because we are using Microsoft Cloud Service, and you have to pay for the space there. And since we are not used, we have to take a special attention. In Excel, for example, that is connected to analysis cubes, if we create one pivot table with one, it's 21 kilo. Adding one chart, 26 kilo. If we have like 50 or let's say 85 pivot tables, this is the report that we give for sales area with 50 charts. It's 2 mega, it's not really much. While if we have a look at the Power BI report that we will generate, it's totally different. It is 10 mega, and the same 10 mega doesn't change, because we are having not only the report design, but also the data are within the report. And in this case, if we import 25 million rows from general ledger, then the size of the data of the report is 4.6 GB. So this is totally a different perspective, and we have to take care about this. Another thing about the data source and the Power BI is the licensing of SQL Server, and that will make a big impact of how we do, because the sources that we will analyze are directly querying SQL tables. Next, we can use content packs that are available within Microsoft Dynamics NAV. We will see what we can do with data warehouse or cubes. And lately, release candidate Excel 2016 can also publish data to Power BI. Usually, everyone would go to structure data for cubes. Actually, you would try it here, but there are a lot of handicaps of architecture, both AX and NAV, and we will address this later. But later, we would prefer to use the cubes. But the problem within going to the cubes is that licensing is not in favor of us, which means that you have to, multidimensional edition is not supported. The standard is not supported, and enterprise is supported from SQL 2012. And a tabular or a business intelligence edition is not so common. So not many customers is really ready to build their BI reports from the cubes, which in most cases, and especially for our existing customers, the next technology available is data warehouse. Now we will go step by step the benefits or threats, weaknesses of each of these parts here. What I will do first is I will take an empty pivot table report, and I will say, hey, let's connect to the data. And I will go to the SQL Server, local host, and I will open a file which has, just bear with me for a second, the name of database. Okay, I have it here. It's a demo 2016. I say okay. it's waking up my, oh, it's not a local host. I already did an error because I have several nav demo. This is the right one. Okay. We will first we connect directly to the SQL Server database. So what we see here is 1,250 tables. Not all tables are physical tables. We have a lot of sum index, floating technology fields, Swift fields. And what we will do is inventory report. So we'll go into the item ledger entry. And go to this table here. And actually, I would like to select also other tables, let's say the item location and so on. And if I say, hey, give me also related tables, because I'm, it is helping me a lot to create my data model. Because when I'm using Power BI, I have to use either existing or create my own data model. So nothing happened here. So, okay, in this case, I should go and select all the tables that I want one by one and say, do you want this then to import to the query? I'll say, okay, just import this. So I will have to add table by table and connect this to my ledger entry table. The data would be here, and I will not do the case. This was just the case to show you how to connect, because I already have a predefined or prepared report just here. Okay. So actually what I have in my data model is item ledger entry. I connect it to the item. This is a simple connection. You can't do nothing much wrong here. When you're saying item in the item ledger entry is a number here. And I have a date. I have to create a date. It's very simple. It's one line of code. And location is related also to my location in item ledger entry. And what is really important, because as you know, item ledger entry does not have the values. The values are in a value entry. This is in NAV. The similar is what we have in AX with display methods. So we have to go into another table and make a query in relation there. So what is the relation here? Value entry and item ledger entry. It's item ledger entry number. So by combining all this, I have these tables that I see here, and I can then create a report. So this is my report, and let's check if this report is the right one. So we will open Dynamics NAV, look for inventory valuation report if we have done it right. So what is actually the purpose of bringing this data here? The purpose is to be flexible, because once I have these numbers here, I can query and I can analyze by any attribute. So I'm looking into valuation report, inventory valuation. Okay, let's do the preview. It's a short database. It's not a big one here. And let's see what we have. Cost positive to GL 1.171, 1.171. So this is good. And this report is static. And if I bring the report in Power BI, I can use any attribute that I want to analyze by. So for example, this is my item GL. I want to analyze this by, let's say by location here. I have by location address, why not? Or by any other attribute from existing table, which means let's say item ledger entry or any related table. That's why we have built a data model. But this is not the top of business analysis design. There are quite some handicaps, which I will speak just after the second part. The second part is the part that Microsoft delivered as a content pack. And this content pack is within Microsoft Dynamics NAV in case of web services. So web services are here. So what is a web service? Web service is a type of web service is open data protocol, which means we can create a query that we later publish, expose to the web. Power BI is then reading this source of data, and that comes in a form of data set, and you can import this and extend it later. So how do we create a data set? How do we create a query? This functionality is available in NAV, I think 2013, 15, and later. So this is a query. So I have created one simple query inventory. Again, I started with my item table, not item ledger entry. So this is a difference. And now I'm adding number, description, base unit, and these are flow fields. Purchase, sales, and inventory are the flow fields. They are coming from different ledgers. And I can relate also a join item category to get description on, or any other information from related table. So this is a very simple design of this query, and this query has this address. And when I do in Power BI, or if I go here into a query, just bear with me for a second. If I go here for a query, if I open a query, let us open a query, and I can run a query. This is what I get. I get a data sets directly. I get a data set. So this is good. I want this to be in Power BI so that I'm more flexible. Okay, I'll be closing this and look for a Power BI report that has all data query. And this is it. So actually, what I do here when I say get data, and I'm not going to the SQL server, I'm intentionally not using a service because I can show you more steps. And I look for a query, and see there are all different sorts, and I look for OData feed. And in this OData feed, and I say connect, I have to give the string. And this is the string of my web service. If I copy, then I get all the queries that I created. So actually what I have already done here is I have connected this query, and I selected the query, a few queries. I have selected there is a Power BI, which is exposing KPIs from account schedule, and this is our query here. You see? The structure of the data is just the same, and in my data model, there are no relations because each query comes as a data set itself. Of course, I can extend the functionality here by my inventory connecting to other tables, and that is going without any limitation, but let's just do it a short way. This is what we have. And coming here from here, I can create all sorts of reports because, again, I'm flexible, having all the attributes. So this is a really good part, and BI content part is a big step in bringing Microsoft Dynamics NAV to Power BI. Actually, if we open a Power BI, we can go also directly in my Power BI application. I can go directly to a source. I'll just show you this, and I can go here, and I can go to the service, and I'm taking NAV, must be somewhere here, and I connect, and the end result would be the same. Actually, you see the same string here. It would connect also to a predefined set of reports and update it there. This is the same result also here. Now, what are the handicaps and benefits of this technology? First one is, or the most important part is Microsoft Dynamics architecture. whatever OData protocol is really, really simple and good and powerful, especially because flow fields are there, option fields are there. We are, regardless on all these, using a quite old ERP architecture. And the handicap here is architecture of NAV. We have a split transactional information. As you know, sales are coming from value entries, direct posting to GL, and other ledger entries, and the total sales must embrace all this ledger entry. The same also if you would like to go into the receivable and payable area and you would like to analyze, there are two things that you have to analyze in receivables and payables. One is the balance, and the second is the quality of the balance. What is due, overdue? If you go only to customer ledger entries, you are just getting the first part, the balance. If you want to go to the overdue percentage, to the structure, then you have to go to the detail ledger entry, and you have to calculate it in a special set where you will be later reading it from it when you have overdue and before due. So this cannot be solved, let's say, at least mildly easily within a Power BI. Also, split master file information for line type. If you are selling things, then you have one table for item, GL, resource. It's not just one. And a very big handicap that NAV has data per company. These are the challenges if you want to have information from Microsoft Dynamics NAV, either going directly to SQL tables as we have done it in step 1, or using the OData fit. None of this is an issue in AX. You have all transactional information at one place. There is one master file, and data are not per company, but every transaction has area ID, so this is NAV specific. While of course AX comes with its own issue, AX has 6,000 or 7,000 tables, and it's quite complex to do anything there. So let's see what we can do. If we go back here, we have seen direct query to SQL tables. We have seen Microsoft Dynamics content pack, and let's see how we manage data warehouse. Before we go here, I would like to ask you, let's do some polls. Can you tell us what is your profile? And we are just launching a profile in the pool. And are you NAV or AX centric? Can I ask you please to launch polls? So the pool is going on. So we have like most of you is 80%. We have 83%. We have item professionals, and yeah, we have almost all of you already voted. Thank you for this. Can we ask you another question? And that is, are you NAV or AX profile? Okay, you are gathering information. I think we have the same or very similar answer. So most of you is NAV, like 80%, and 20-25% of you is AX. And no, few of you are using some other ERP. Okay, thank you for this. So let's see what we can have from data warehouse. So again, what we have now is connection to data warehouse. What we have done is we go to SQL Server, we go to localhost, we go to name of BFO NAV, and I say okay. So we have 300 tables. These are facts, dimensions, and views, and we are looking into inventory or analysis. So we go to value entry. So this is a stage. It's not stage value entry. This is the same like NAV, but to fact. And what we will do here is use this functionality, select related table. So this part is much better in using a properly designed data warehouse with a existing relation through foreign keys, which Power BI is reading. So what we have, let's just see. Actually, we have a fact, and I think 27 tables. If I would say load, then actually I would have what I have already here. So this is the structure. Just open the structure. It looks, you know, as it looks. So you don't have to worry. If any of these dimensions you are not using, you should not import it, or you can anytime delete it. So this is how we get data in, and then we would continue to rename and create some measure. This is the part that is missing compared to the connection to the cube. So I'll be using one report, and in this case I'll be using a sales area. And usually this is the spot where all other presentations start, and they say, hey, look at how beautiful these visuals are. And actually they are, but the hidden germ is here, is the data set, the structures, how they are related, and what kind of formulas we have put here together. So this is really the key that we are putting a lot of attention in today's webinar. So based on this data set and this table, in this tables here, we can put any filter. For example, you can go into the date filter and skip the previous years. You can do in a query in data warehouse, but you have the option to filter everything that you don't need or want to analyze. And then creating visuals, then this is really, really, really easy. So based on our experience with Microsoft Excel and the set of reports that we are offering our customers in implementation of BFO Dynamics based on cubes, we have created a similar set of reports, actually measures and reports, as you are used to in Excel. So for example, these are some of the reports. And you see the set is similar. Of course, this is a different technology. It has some part of the visualization are very good. The table visualization is not so good, but again, this is it. And here is the first part. You see, I can just click and analyze by item. Of course, our data warehouse doesn't have or overcomes the handicap of NAV architecture. So we would like to analyze the posting to GL. These are all the numbers here. See, nothing is going on in the item category because there is no item category when we are posting directly to GL. A similar set of report or visuals is here when you would filter a year. If you are not using country or salesperson, you just drag and drop another field here that makes more sense for your business. And you can use visuals. This is called a visual. That are really very good. For example, geographic area. We have seen this already a lot, and it's also good when query R. You can do this sorting, so it's fine here. Once we create the reports, what we have to do is just hit publish, and voila, they are already here, just like that. Nothing else. Everything is immediately here, immediately, maybe in 10 or 15 seconds, and nothing more. And from here on, there is just one step, as you know, to put all these reports into the dashboard. So what is actually the dashboard? Dashboard is a collection of visuals that we have created in the reports. And in our case, or in my case, because I'm doing this for a demo, I don't use the dashboard in the same design as I do the reporting part. which means the reporting part is stretched across whole screen, but my dashboard is designed to be used in a way to support mobile phone. So I'm just launching my application so that I can show you this, Power BI, and I'll be using a sales overview. I have reports here, but the screen does not really fit, or they would not really fit the best. So the sales is better. So do you see her? It's working. It just works. It just works and works very well. And now I will show you one thing that's really very interesting, latency in a design here. So for example, if I want to bring these things here, okay, let me just go here and show you these two things at the same time. Okay. You see, it's immediately here. It's amazing. Whatever I do, 1, 2, 3, and it's there. So this is really very good, and it's working. So what is the handicap of dashboards? They are not interactive. So I do have, you see, furniture, and I can slice it here, but nothing will happen. So I have to use predefined filters, slicers, that make sense when I analyze this business. And of course, other mobile clients have these features. And I'm sure that Microsoft is going also in this direction. But already what we have, it's a very good, and it's stable, it's working, and it's fast, and it's supporting security and all the things that we need for a corporate implementation. I would say just great. So this was a set for our sales area. The same is the set that we offer for a receivable area. Let me just go into the receivable area here. Okay. So the receivable area, you see, has first a structure, before due or overdue, nicely designed. And if I say, hey, give me everything to see what is overdue 2 years, and I see, oh, this is really growing, and I see which countries and so and so. The colors here are, I'm using actually the, if I click here, the color saturation. And the saturation, higher the saturation, it's not good, so it's a red. So I see the customer in Austria. Currently 50% are overdue, while let's say customer from Canada, only 12%. I mean, you can do a lot in this design, and the reasonable set of predefined reports will come, or are coming from us, from BFO Dynamics, and they are, in this case, connected to our data warehouse. Okay, two things I want to show you. As you may know, that Microsoft is really proudly announcing that you can add a lot of visuals from third parties. And I have studied all of them. Actually, there are a lot. Currently, on their webpage, there are, I think, 20, because some of them are coming and going. As you may see, I have here like 33, so they discontinued already some of them. But the point here is which are useful for you as a mainstream user, and I found two. One is a slicer, both are slicers. One is a slicer called Chiclet, and it helps you structure attributes more efficiently. So actually horizontal or vertical, columns and rows, in size, and so on. This is perfectly for date, for years, month, weeks, and so on. The second one is this one. It's called attribute slicer. What is this doing is, you see, whenever I put a slicer, it's connecting with all the visuals. So if I'm looking for one specific customer, I will use attribute slicer, and let's see, a string London, I get the customers that have a string London. I click it here, and you see, voila, it changes everything. Very useful, very good. I recommend to do this. So this is it. A little more operational. You see, if you are saying, let's go into EU customers or all EU customers that are overdue, I have a list here, and I get also the details. I'm just showing that this is really ready. So structure of overdue is here, and I'm looking into overdue 2 years. So these are all customers, and I want to say, okay, let's click this guy because this is the biggest. I get all the documents here. So all in all, 188 is a balance, 50% is overdue. I get a document and so on and so on. So this is very useful and can be applied immediately. Actually, there is no reason why you should not apply it just after our webinar. There is more thing about Power BI, and this is additional visuals. When I was studying all these additional visuals, I would just say, go to Microsoft page and try Power BI Visual Gallery. And you just see what works for you and what does not work for you, because there are a lot and they are adding new and new. And whenever you are implementing any of these, I would suggest you to have a look at the video. Usually there is a video. Microsoft provides one video a week for this, and you may see whether it makes sense for your business to use a visual or not, because some of them are really very cool, but from our perspective, from BFO Dynamics perspective, we have to offer to the market what everyone can use. So we'll keep on these two. There is a difference of, let's see the comment, what we have, the good and the bad of data warehouse. Okay. So we had a view of a data warehouse. We see this is almost ready, but we have to work on DAX. And voila, we forgot to mention one big thing is data compression. What is this? Do you remember when I was showing you how big the files are? And the handicap definitely of going directly to data warehouse as is, if I go directly to a SQL table, is that I'm reading a lot of tables, a lot of members in the tables. If you have like 1 million records, then okay, that's okay. But if you have 10 million, in our case, we have 25 million records in a GL entry table, trans entry table, trans ledger table here, then this table is too big to manage, and it also would take too much space or all of the space of our 10 GB. So what we can do is we can do compression with the lost, of course, and we compress data on a monthly basis. So we put everywhere that the date is the first in a current month, and we put away an attribute document. By doing this, on a small data, when you have not a lot of events, you may gain 3 times. But on a large scale, when you have a lot of data, and on this particular table, we have a gain of 800 times. So from 25 million records, it goes down into 30,000, 30K. And in our case, the data set that we would be using in data warehouse would be 3 megabyte, okay? So that is a great improvement. And of course, we should not spend too much on optimizing and you know, giving away information. Is better than to buy SQL Server BI edition and use and create structures directly from data warehouse in the cubes in a tabular mode. That is much better. Because the DAX, the language that we use for a query, is really very rewarding. And I encourage you to go and to try to study it later, because I guess it's rewarding. It's easy, but it's not simple as it looks. So let's see in our case what it offers. And you know that distinct count is a pain to calculate in MDX. You have to create a new fact just for that. I didn't believe it, but this is it. So let's see which of our customers are new customers. So this is Q2, and I can easily create a measure that tell me that I have 13 new customers, and the total revenue from these customers in this period is 12.6% of total revenue. So how have I done this? The base of this is sales area, so sales ledger entry or sales value entry, and I'm just extending the functionality. This can be applied to any other source. Doesn't really matter that has to be Dynamics, NAV, AX, or BFO Dynamics. It works for everything. So let us see what we have here. So I create first a new. It goes like this, a new measure, all customers, which is a simple distinct count going into customer dimension to customer name. And all time, regardless on the time, I have 72. Now, I say, okay, but which of these customers are buying? Which means, you see, the formula is a measure, a calculation. It's a distinct count of a customer. Then I apply a filter. The filter is simple. Give me those customers that net sales is bigger than 0. So in this particular period, because the date or all other filters come with the content of visual, which means columns, rows, slicers, all this is filtering our data without writing a line of code. So we have 8, 41, 34, good. And now which are the new customers? Okay, the new customers are distinct and which have already, and I add one more condition. This is this one. I said these are also customers which have no revenue. I said we have revenue but no revenue. Yes, but I add additional condition. I said they have no revenue in a period before current filter, and by all date I'm actually shaving off the condition that I'm within this date. So I just reset a date and say don't look at this date here, but just say whatever is the mean date here. So this is actually smaller than mean date. So by this I have 2, 9, and 2, all total 13 customers are here, and new customer revenue is just adding instead of distinct count, I say give me the net sales. Things are the same, and I can say what is the percentage of new customers is division customers with new sales and customers with sales, and this is it. It's not really hard. And the same thing I can apply to items, I can apply to any other dimension, and it works. You can expect more of this from BFO Dynamics because this is really easy and powerful, but it takes some time that you have to look and look and look into this formula and try it, because it will not work many times just because your bracket is not at the right point, and it's a pain until you get some experience at least. Okay, I think now we have covered almost all. So what can I take? What are the takeaways from today's webinar? If you are a BFO Dynamics customer, you can try it just right now. You can put your data on mobile on the web just by going to our web page, change a connection string, and update data and load it to existing reports by having a Power BI account, publishing through and mobile. This can be done really very fast and easy. If you have a bigger database, bigger, let's say 100 gigabyte or more, then you may do something on compression on your fact tables, or you can wait for us to standardize this. Definitely we will do this, and definitely follow what Power BI is, because this is a developing story. Always is, sometimes is new. Now, this is the end, and for conclusion, what can I say? Your Power BI strategy will depend a lot of what SQL version you have and the size of your data set. And BFO Dynamics can help you if you are using existing data warehouse, because most of our customers, I mean, every our customer has a data warehouse, but most of our customers do not have an enterprise or business intelligence version. But definitely Microsoft is pushing us this way, and I think very soon, or let's say the future of business intelligence will go into this direction. I would like to thank you everyone for being with us today. If you have any questions, please send an email to mg@bfodynamics.com, or if it's a more general question regarding BFO Dynamics, architecture, pricing, partnership, whatever, just drop an email to sales@bfodynamics.com, and see you on Microsoft Direction or Navision user group very soon. Thank you and goodbye.